So, I planned on doing a different video today. It was gonna be about, what was I gonna call it? Something like the best thing you can do to help you reach your goals. And that is an important video, and so I'm still gonna do it, but I just felt like it's time for a vlog. It's time for just some casual chatting. I find it funny that my regular series where I'm sitting on the couch and I'm kind of like giving some educational and encouraging words. I call that real talk, but I feel like with some of my vlogs that feels more like real talk. So we're gonna get real today. I'm sitting by my bed with my Batman blanket turned into a curtain and my sweet dog that passed away a few years ago. We've got my pile of laundry just to the side. This is real life. It's raining right now. You might hear that in the background. I'm not sure. 100% chance of rain all day. But thanks to this light, hopefully hopefully that's okay enough for you. Yeah, so it's been a rough week. It's been a rough season times 2, times 3, times 4. And I know that I'm not the only one feeling this. And it's personally been such a, I don't know if I want to say encouragement, but like, I guess kind of comforting to whenever I see other people post on Twitter or elsewhere about how they're struggling during this pandemic too. I think because this is something unprecedented, this is something new, I think a lot of us don't know how we're supposed to feel. This is uncharted territory. And if you're like me, you might be too hard on yourself. You might be putting too much pressure on yourself, especially if you're someone who has not lost their job. You're still employed. You've still been healthy. I saw someone post on Twitter the other day this new phrase called pandemic fine, where, someone asks, like, how are you? And, you haven't lost your job, you're still healthy, but, you're completely exhausted and every day is super hard and you're feeling that fatigue and depression and anxiety because of the pandemic and just all of the things that has brought. They're calling that pandemic fine because that's our new base level of fine right now. And so yeah, I just wanted to mention that in case you're someone that could benefit from hearing that if you are feeling exhausted all the time and having a hard time staying motivated, getting anything done, if you're just sleeping a lot, if you find yourself just needing more time to relax and feeling stressed, feeling depressed, and maybe you feel guilty about it because, like I said, you haven't lost your job, like you've been doing fine, financially and health-wise, physical health-wise, but we might not be realizing how much of a toll it's having on our mental health, how it affects our emotions. Like I said, this is new for all of us. That's hard. And so I want you to know that you're not alone, that we're all going through this. So maybe you can give yourself a little bit more grace. Be kinder to yourself. This has been a lesson that I think God has been trying to teach me since 2018. In 2018, I was dealing with these health issues. It came with this chronic fatigue and and anxiety and depression, and I mean, it was really just the fatigue that was especially getting to me. I couldn't hardly do anything, and that was hard for me because I'm such an ambitious person and I love to help people, and there's so many things I wanted to do. At the time I had a regular job, and so my time was limited to do the things that I actually am passionate about, like this. But then when I would come home from work, I didn't have anything left in me. And it was hard for me. And the things that I was learning through that, and then even as I recovered from, the fatigue and got some energy back, and started an anti-anxiety and depression medication, and that helped so much. And so I started counseling. A lot of these things that helped me, but there was still, it just didn't magically make the depression and anxiety go away. And I've just been learning these lessons even before the pandemic of how, but especially now during this pandemic, and I think a lot of you out there are learning this, or if you haven't learned it, I want to share this with you because it's been huge for me to realize, and I'm trying to still get it through my stubborn head. But the idea that we can't have expectations on ourselves for like things that would have worked yesterday. Like back in college, I finally had myself like figured out. I'm proud to say I knew exactly what times of day I had the best energy, and I understood myself, and enough to like know exactly what kind of routine I needed to have to do well in school. I mean, I was even valedictorian. Like I had myself figured out, and then I crashed so hard after college, and then it climaxed in 2018, a couple years later, and but now I feel like I'm in this place where every day is different. Every moment is different. I don't know what I'm gonna be like when I wake up. I don't know how much energy I'm gonna have. I don't know what my mental health is gonna be like. I don't know if I'm gonna be depressed that day or be dealing with these physical symptoms of anxiety that can be paralyzing. And it's hard for me because I like to have a plan. I prided myself back in college that I figured out exactly what worked for me. But now what worked before doesn't work so well right now. Or at least it's changing every day. One day I feel great and I can get so much done and it's awesome. And then the next day I just completely crash. And I beat myself up so hard because I felt like I know myself. I should know what I know what I'm capable of, so I should be able to reach this. Like this used to be this is the bare minimum that I should be able to do, and I kept not hitting it. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? But there wasn't something wrong with me. That's just life. Situations change. Our bodies change. We grow older. Our health changes. So many things change. And so we need to learn to better adapt and give ourselves grace, knowing that what worked for us yesterday may not work today. And so we shouldn't beat ourselves up when what worked yesterday doesn't work today. And I think that's so crucial right now during this pandemic, because we're all tired. And yeah, you may still have your job and you may be healthy, but there's so much that's still, there's still stress. There's still I mean, you have to still wear a mask to go to the grocery store. Like it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and right now we aren't feeling safe, and you might not be able to see your friends like you used to. You may not even be going into a job. I mean, I don't see anybody except for my husband. I'm thankful I have my husband, but you know, it was nice at first, you know, the whole jokes about introverts loving this time because we get to have excuses to just be alone all the time. And, you know, it was great at first, but it's taking a toll on introverts too, because the truth is we all need human connection, human intimacy. We even need hugs. Like, there's studies done about that. Like, to have touch even is important. And right now we have to be distanced. We have to be 6 feet apart, and you can't see people's faces, so you can't see them smile. And that affects us. We are very relational beings. Along these same lines, I've talked about before how I am a recovering perfectionist, and I really, like, it was, like, I've made a lot of progress throughout my life, but I feel like I was starting to fall back into some old habits, and there's just some things that I can't get past. And so to kind of like kick this thing once and for all, sorry, I got distracted because I said kick and then I punched. Anyways, I talked about it in my 2021 focus video. You can check that out and I explain it more there, but my theme, my intention, my one word, well, it's not one word, it's 2 words, my phrase for the year, I chose make mistakes. It was kind of along this idea that instead of using, you know, I'm someone who just thinks constantly about my mistakes. I see them all the time and I criticize myself. I have a very mean inner critic. She's very mean to me. And so instead of beating myself up over it, I'm going to take note of my mistakes and then celebrate it. Because if I'm making mistakes, that means that I'm actually doing things. I'm actually taking action and taking risks and facing my fears, and that is something to be celebrated. And so that's my focus for this year. But man, oh my gosh, it's been so hard. It's been so hard. Like, it's been the hardest theme I've ever chosen. I mean, I've done this for like, oh gosh, how many? Like 5 or 6 years, I think. I mean, I'm constantly thinking about, that's just I'm always thinking about ways I can improve. But I'm a perfectionist. I'm an Enneagram 1. I'm a reformer. But anyways, so, but this has been the hardest thing for me, which I know is good, because I know it's in the discomfort, it's in those uncomfortable places where we see the most growth. But it's not all sunshine and daisies. It's not a walk through the park. It takes hard work to reach the best version of ourselves, of who we were meant to be. It can be painful sometimes. It feels so good when you start seeing the progress and become more of who you're supposed to be and the best version of yourself, but it's painful along the way. There's so many things that we have to first remove before we can like add in the good stuff, before we can feel more healed and more whole. That sucks. And so yeah, I'm working on not beating myself up, but it's especially hard during this time when nothing is stable. And I, like, even when taking like the Strengths Finder test, I think like adaptability was like my last one. I like discipline as one of the first ones, and like so I'm good at the structure and making a routine, and I excel in that. Except when things change, because even if we're not in a pandemic, stuff happens. Things change. Life is just unpredictable, and we have to learn how to adapt. But we shouldn't beat ourselves up in the process. Even if you're trying to learn how to adapt, you shouldn't be hard on yourself, because it's new. It should be more of a curiosity, or maybe like a game or something fun to learn of like, how can we navigate this? What will work best today? And if we can maybe shift to that kind of mindset, maybe that will help us. You know, that life is an experiment and we're testing out. You know, we're a mad scientist and we've got this isn't working, the crazy hair, and we, oh my gosh, what am I doing? We're a mad scientist and trying to experiment and see what works and what doesn't, because then it's a bit distant and not so personal, because we shouldn't be making our mistakes our identity. We shouldn't be taking it so personally. Like, we're all just trying to do our best, and that's enough. So I don't know where you're at today, but maybe you're also someone who needs to be making grace the goal, making mistakes your goal, making rest your goal, making relaxation and taking breaks your goal. You know, we don't always have to be in a season of thriving. It's okay to just do what you need to survive. Because, I mean, if that's all you can do, trying to put pressure on yourself to be more than that is just going to hurt you more. I don't know if you've experienced this, where maybe you're feeling kind of depressed, and so you have a less productive day, and then so at the end of the day you beat yourself up because you're less productive, and then that makes you more depressed, and so you keep going in this cycle that just makes it worse for yourself. But if you were just able to give yourself grace and think, okay, this must be what my body was needing. It was needing to take it slower today. It was needing to just kind of mindlessly scroll on social media today, or play my game, or read my book, maybe eat some extra cookies, you know? And we should then be counting that as a win, because we are listening to our bodies. Because I don't know about you, but I really disrespect my body. I'm so controlling. It's like, I want to be in charge here. I'm gonna do what I want to do, what I think I should do. It's probably more like it. And so I ignore what my body needs, because I think like, I'm just being weak and lazy and I just gotta push harder. And like, yeah, sometimes there are times when we do just need to push and challenge ourselves, but I think especially right now during this pandemic, but there's a lot of other times too, this applies to all of life, we just need to kind of chill for a second and check in with ourselves, our heart, what's going on in our head, what our thoughts keep going to, or what they're resisting. You know, sometimes that can be a thing of like, what are we avoiding? What are we trying to distract ourselves from? You know, what, just taking inventory of like, am I thirsty? Am I hungry? Am I feeling not very motivated right now and I just want to play my game or do this or that? Sometimes we just gotta listen to that, because I think a lot of times our bodies know what we need We just don't listen to it. And I've been learning that. It's been so hard. This is so hard for me, guys. So know when I'm saying this to you, it's something that I'm working on. I've been trying to test that out lately of like, what would happen if I actually just kind of go with the flow of what feels right to me, like what my body wants me to do. And I'll give you an update later once I have some more time trying this out, but so far it seems to be helping. Like whenever I've just taken time, it's so hard because I feel guilty, but I just, to let myself take a break that day, even if it's like a whole day, I'll find myself being so much more productive the next day than, the days that when I used to try to push myself through, I would just have like a lot of days of hardly getting anything done because I'm trying to push and it's just not working. And so sometimes it's better to just completely take that day off if you're able to, because that's often what we need, to completely disengage, to decompress, to relax and let our brains just be. And that can make us so much more productive in the long run. It's so much healthier too. What's the point of doing all these things in our life if we're too unhealthy and too depressed all the time to even enjoy the wins? We have to take care of ourselves. That's important. You are important. Your worth is not determined by your level of productivity. You are worthy right now. You have worth. You are valuable, my friend. Even when you just need to relax. Just chill out for a day. And, I heard this analogy before too of how, how we have the natural seasons of fall where everything dies or hibernates, and then in spring it comes back. So even in nature, we see this example of resting, taking a season to hibernate before it comes back to life and springs back up from the ground. I don't know of many flowers that bloom all year round, especially where I live, where we go through the fall, winter, these seasons like that. And so maybe we should take a lesson from that it's okay to have those seasons where we just lie dormant and rest and recharge so that we can spring up again and bloom that much more beautifully and stronger than before. There are lessons to be learned in this season of waiting, of stillness, of taking a break. This is not going to last forever. And so we should take these lessons now. If you're someone like me right now where you feel like you're almost being forced to take a break because you just can't handle it anymore, maybe we should let that be our lesson. That's what we need to be doing, not just during a pandemic, but all the time. We need to be finding that good, healthy cycle for us. And that's going to be different person to person. It's going to be different even for you day to day. But we need to start listening to our needs more. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. Trying to learn to give myself grace and not be so hard on myself. And I hope that for you too. I really do. I don't want you being hard on yourself. I love you. And I want you to see your value even when you're not outputting. Yeah, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you again soon.